Hey, how's it going? This is day 3 of me sharing a snippet of my book, and my book is about the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, but more importantly, the culture in that church. And I wanted to read you another section. The first day I read the introduction, second day I read a little bit about garments, and today I wanted to read you what I wrote about modesty. And again, this isn't me saying I know all the answers or anything, just this book's about some observations I've made, so hopefully you enjoy it. The cultural narrative often teaches that if you are modest your entire life, the transition to wearing temple garments is smoother and more natural. And that makes a lot of sense to me. It's why these two topics of garments and modesty are culturally linked. But where the principle of modesty becomes toxic is when it transforms from personal dignity into social protection, placing the responsibility for sin on the person being viewed. I recently rewatched a talk from President Alan H. Oaks in the April 2005 General Conference titled Pornography. In it, he said something that struck me deeply, serving as a really powerful example of where prophetic counsel can collide with eternal principles of agency. He said, and I quote, "Young woman, please understand that if you dress immodestly, you are magnifying this problem by becoming pornography to some of the men who see you." When I first heard this a couple years ago, I didn't think much of it. But hearing it again now with more life experience and a deeper understanding of both men and women, it hit differently. The implication seemed to suggest that if a woman wears something considered immodest, she is somehow responsible for the thoughts or actions of the men who see her. I struggled with that. Does that mean that a woman's worth is tied to what she wears? That if someone else has impure thoughts about her, she bears part of the blame? To me, that does not feel like a gospel rooted in agency, accountability, and Christ-like compassion. If a man chooses to think impurely, isn't that his responsibility? Doesn't the Savior teach us to control our hearts and minds? I thought about a story I once heard involving the actress Carrie Fisher. In an interview, she talked about the impact of wearing her infamous gold bikini in the Star Wars movie Return of the Jedi. Millions of people saw her in that scene and many sexualized her because of it. And it made me wonder, if people had impure thoughts about her, was that her fault for wearing the costume, or was that about them, how they chose to view her? Now, I understand that modesty isn't meaningless. It serves a purpose, and as a father and a husband, I would want the people I love, especially the woman in my life, to be treated with respect. I also know the internet can be a really harsh, judgmental, and even a predatory place. If my daughter were to post a revealing picture and strangers on the internet began objectifying her, it would break my heart. And I think a lot of people feel that way because that's a real protective instinct. And I get, in that context, I get why modesty is taught and why it matters. But where I struggle is when modesty becomes a measure of worth. It becomes about how others see you rather than how you see yourself as a daughter or son of God. I don't believe that a woman in a tank top is any less divine or less loved by God than a woman in long sleeves. And I believe men have a divine responsibility to learn how to control their thoughts and honor women, not treat them as objects. Now, I know talking about these things can seem a little taboo. This is not something I feel like I'm ignorant in talking about this. I'm not a woman. I don't know how it feels to be judged for what I wear just because it's different for men. But I feel like I need to stand up for people because we don't talk a lot about this, and I think it's important. And again, I'm not bad-mouthing the church, but sometimes there's counsel from the pulpit that doesn't always seem right. And I'm not saying what President Oaks said is wrong. I'm just saying sometimes we have to view it as a cultural thing. And culture changes. I don't think President Oaks would say that same thing today. And so that's what this book is about. It's about how our church changes and why I think change is good. And and that's just shows that there's modern day revelation. So hopefully you enjoyed. I'm going to keep reading. I didn't read all of it, but hopefully that was okay.